decided to answer the question, how can I teach a dance class at Medway Dance Authority in order to expose the students to a new style? So I decided to list out some of the key components of my project, including the place, Medway Dance Authority, which is where my class was held. I had to research modern dance and also teaching modern dance, and then also the registration that went into my project. I had to create a lesson plan for the day that I held the class, as well as go through a whole choreography process because I had to come prepared with combination for the students to learn. And I also had to schedule studio time and meetings with my mentor, Miss Jennifer. And I was prepared to have both successes and failures throughout my entire project, obviously, and then I also included my final thoughts. So the background of me being a dancer at Medway Dance Authority. I've been attending weekly classes at Medway Dance Authority for the past 15 years. These pictures right here are from when I would stay after classes because I would have to wait for a ride from my sister, and I would go take classes with the big girls, and that's what really inspired me to love dance. And then that's from our past trip to Disney, just to show that we really love each other. We're all surrounded around Miss Jen, one big family. So the studio has not only given me a family, but it's given me my best friends and a second home. Obviously, we've gone on trips of a lifetime, and we've got to perform in places like Disney and Universal. I've also got to go to conventions and learn from a lot of amazing choreographers. So, purposes. Why I chose Medway Dance Authority. So I wanted to give back to the studio that's given me so much over the past 15 years. And I was actually inspired by a class that I took at Dean College during the past audition season this fall. And I had to take my first modern class, and I loved it. I loved every second of it, and I knew I had to share my newfound love with the students at Medway Dance Authority. So my only goal for this class was for the girls to try something new and to do it in a fun way. And in my opinion, that goal was not only met but knocked out of the park. My main concern was to have a positive teaching and learning experience in the classroom, because I just wanted the girls to have some good memories to walk out of there with, since it was only my first experience teaching. And then this was also a fun learning experience for me to try teaching a dance class instead of participating like normal, which also put next year's plan for teaching into perspective. My mentor is Miss Jennifer Narducci, the owner of Medway Dance Authority. Her studio has been open for 26 years and counting, so I had a slight feeling she might know a thing or two about teaching dance. She was a really big help to my entire project. We had continuous meetings throughout the year according to my schedule. She was extremely flexible, and she was always able to meet according to my availability. She was always able to answer my questions. Whatever I had to throw at her, she was ready to respond. And she was also able to offer me my most valuable source of research, which was CLI Studios. And I was able to find videos and articles there about teaching dance, about modern, about registration, so that was very beneficial to my project. And when we would have meetings, she would answer my questions. We would take steps to move forward with my project, like planning a time for me to hold my class, and we also created a flyer to post on the Medway Dance Authority Facebook page, which is where we hold all of our post our announcements. We post a lot of photos. That's where I got all the photos for my lovely project. Research. So I had to do quite a bit of research for my project because it would be my first time teaching a dance class, and it was also a style that was foreign to me. So I started by watching videos on YouTube of modern dancers, since I'd only had a small exposure at Dean College. And from there, I basically just got sucked in. I probably started watching videos for an hour, and I learned about warm-up techniques through this, and as well as choreography styles and common modern dance steps to teach. So I was able to utilize those specific steps in the videos in my class. And then I also found an article on CLI Studios about teaching dance classes in today's day and age. And I owe Miss Jennifer a thank you for that. And this research was essential to my project because I was able to structure my class kind of based off of that article. My project plan. So I was able to utilize the studio space at Encompass Fitness, which is the gym that I work at in Millis. And I was also able to use the studio space at Medway Dance Authority, like before and after classes if necessary, to create sequences to move across the floor with, to choreograph for my class, and lesson plan primarily. And then I also created a playlist of indie songs, and I made sure that it was censored for the studio. So this was my flyer that I created to post on the Facebook page. I ended up holding my class on February 27th. It was 2 classes. So the first class was for levels 2 and 3. It was for the younger kids, and then the second class was for levels 4 and advanced, which was for the older kids. And I decided to do 2 different levels so that I could get like 2 different exposure types, because I knew obviously the younger kids would have a different experience with the choreography than the older kids. And then, so this is what we created, and that's a picture from last year's recital. So my first class was taught to levels 2 and 3, which is kids are ages 7 to 12. We did a warm-up, we did practice moves traveling across the floor, and we did combination work. And it was definitely a unique experience for the young girls to be taught by a big girl at the studio, because normally they're learning from their normal teachers that they have every week. And I have a little snippet from class of when I was teaching them the choreography to a song called Work by Andra Day. So that was the first class. That was the combination that I taught them. And then...
Just hit it again.
And then... for the second class, I had levels 4 and advanced, which are kids ages 13 through 18. So this class actually consisted of a lot of my friends, which was also a really odd experience. I have more opinions on that later. So for this class, I included the same idea. So we started with a warm-up and stretching, but there's a little bit more condition-based, because a lot of the warm-up in modern dance is based on strengthening your core. And then we also practiced work across the floor, and we also did a combination in that class. So for this video, I just have a little snippet of a warm-up that we did. They weren't huge fans of this one, but I like it. So that was the second class.
one more time on your screen. Just hit it twice on your screen, like next. There you go.
So fundraising, thanks to Miss Jen's generosity, fundraising actually wasn't necessary for my class. She donated time for me to use the studio that for when I could teach my class, and the class was cost-free. So successes and positive feedback. So I actually had one of the dancers from the younger class go home and ask their parent if they could take Miss Daniella's modern class every dance season, even though it's not her class. And then, so both classes would have been successful regardless of the size, but I was happy to see so many lovely dancers stepping out of their comfort zones to try something new. So the first class had 7 dancers and the second class had 10 dancers. And I saw so many smiling faces, so I know there were a lot of really happy memories made. And I also got a lot of compliments on the music. I think it was a different style of music from what they're regular to. Okay. Failures and places to improve. So I definitely struggled with procrastination. I just wish that I did more at the beginning. I definitely put off some of the choreography, and I ended up coming to the class prepared with less than I had hoped for. And it ended up being fine. We did groups and it worked out perfectly fine. I just wish going in that I had a little bit more prepared. And then PostClass Thoughts. So this made me really excited for teaching in the future because I'm committed to Dean College, where I'll be studying to earn my Bachelor of Fine Arts in Dance. And I also realized that there's a gap in age and authority that's definitely necessary for teaching dance classes. My friends were amazing, understanding, and cooperative students while I navigated through my first teaching experience, but boundaries definitely had to be set for a class to be run smoothly. Thank yous. I want to say thank you to Miss Jennifer for being an amazing mentor, Mr. Carter for helping through the research portion and an English class, all the dancers that came to my class, and my family for supporting me at home through this and listening to those songs over and over again. These are my sources and questions.